Yo, what up? How you guys doing out there today? This is your boy Roto Beast. I'm here to present you my NBA morning shoot around for Thursday, December 19th. If you're new to this channel, please make sure and click the subscribe button below. This way you can watch all my NBA, NFL, and MLB videos. If you haven't came and checked out our website here at dfscheatsheet.com, you're absolutely missing out. We have all the tools to help you compete with the pros day in and day out, including a complete optimizer, tons of content, daily Fanduel and Draftkings cash lineups. Hey, we're truly a one-stop shop for all your DFS needs. So make sure to come check out the site here at dfscheatsheet.com. So, got a small little 4-game slate. Looks like it's going to be a pretty fun one. Some good games to watch all across the board. Really looking forward to watching this Lakers versus Milwaukee game. You got the top team in the West versus the top team in the East. And then you got Houston and you got the Clippers, man. It's going to be a couple of really good games tonight. So, going to be a fun night. Looking forward to it. But let's talk some basketball. So, we'll start at point guard, work our way down. Obviously, basically, anytime Westbrook's on the slate, I think that you can look at him 9.3. It's a fair price for him. It isn't the best matchup. He's going to be getting guarded by Patrick Beverly. We know Patrick Beverly definitely gets in people's head. But nonetheless, I like the price tag. I like this spot for Russell Westbrook. His game should be very competitive. Both teams should be balls to the walls, trying to win this game, prove that they're the better team in the West. So I'll start with Westbrook. I think that he's a really, really good play today. Trae Young, if Trae Young ends up playing versus Utah, not necessarily the best spot. Utah's a pretty good defensive team, but I still think that he's in play. It'll probably be a little bit more of a GPP play, but he will be in play at 9,900. And if he does get ruled out, he's a game time decision, then it's probably going to open up a value for some guys out there in Atlanta. So we got to pay attention to that news, but I do think Trae Young is in play on the board. Spencer Dinwiddie going against San Antonio. I like him in this spot, actually. I think it's a pretty good spot right here for him. 8,000. The guy's playing very, very well, taking advantage of his opportunity with Kyrie being out, with Karis LeVert being out. The guy's balling, man. He has a little chip on his shoulder, something to prove. That he definitely deserves some more minutes in this rotation. So Spencer Dinwiddie at 8,000, I think he's a good play. On the flip side of things, you got DeJounte Murray at 6,600. I like his price tag a lot more than I do Dinwiddie. I would say Murray, you could possibly look at him in cash games. Dinwiddie's strictly a GPP play on this price tag. But I do like both guys going back and forth. Murray's a guy that we know can fill up the stat sheet very, very quick. So I think that he is a guy in play as well. Then we'll go to Patrick Beverly at 4,300. It's all about if he gets in foul trouble. If he doesn't get in foul trouble, he tends to play pretty well. He doesn't really have the crazy upside that we want, but at this price tag, all we need is about 22 for value. We got him projected at 25 over 5x, almost 6x. So I think this is a pretty good spot. Buy low opportunity on Patrick Beverly. Lastly, I'll just quickly mention him. Two guys. Rajon Rondo, if he does play, I think you can look at him as a GPP play. And then George Hill. George Hill, we know that right now Eric Bledsoe is out for Milwaukee. Yes, last game, the guy Dante DiVincenzo started, but Hill's the real point guard. He's in crunch time, if they need a point guard on the floor, it's going to be Hill. He's a veteran. They trust him. 4,000. All we need is 20 for value. We got him projected at almost 21. So I think he's the guy that we can look at as well. Going to shooting guard, James Harden, price tag is down a little bit. Competitive game against the Clippers. The thing that's tough here for me is he's going to have a Leonard trying to guard him. He's going to have a Paul George trying to guard him. Probably going to even have a little bit of Patrick Beverly trying to guard him. He's going to get a lot of really good defenders thrown his way. So I think it is a little bit more of a tougher matchup, but the price tag is down. And the fact that it is a pretty tough matchup, James Harden could probably come in a little bit lower owned than we anticipate. And, nonetheless, it's James Harden. We know the upside that he gives us any night, so you got to be in play. Then we go out there to Milwaukee. I'm going to talk about Donovan Mitchell. Mike Conley's out once again. Once Utah, when their point guards go out, they always rely heavily on guys like Donovan Mitchell, guys like Ingles, guy like Royce O'Neal to get some extra run. Donovan Mitchell, if he's going to play some point guard in an up-tempo game against Atlanta, I think this is a really good spot for him to shine. My only concern is if Trae Young ends up getting ruled out and Atlanta doesn't have the best player, it could turn into a blowout fairly quickly. Donovan Mitchell doesn't get his full run, but I like him, and I think this is a really good spot for him, especially with Mike Conley out. Then we go DeMar DeRozan, 7,000 going against Brooklyn in an up-tempo game. DeMar DeRozan is just too cheap, man. It's a really, really cheap price tag for him. I like him in this spot a lot. I think that he's a really good player. I think you can look at him in cash and in GPP. Then we'll go down. We'll look at Lou Williams, man. This is too cheap of a price tag. Lou Will at only 5,500, still playing 30 minutes a game. Yes, we always look at him as more scoring dependent, and that is what it is. But yeah, he still gets you a couple assists, couple of rebounds. When they need a big shot, they still go to him, even though they have the other guys. So I just think this is too cheap of a price tag. We got to project it at almost 6x in an up-tempo game against Houston. Clippers are going to have to score the ball with Houston, and Lou Will is their best pure scorer. So I think that he is a guy that we could consider today. Chris Middleton, 6,400, another guy. I don't understand why guys are coming in so cheap. You got Chris Middleton at 6,400. This is a really cheap price tag with Eric Bledsoe out, who's their third best player. You got Giannis and you got Middleton. They're the show. They're going to need a big game from him. Lakers are going to throw some big bodies at Giannis, and somebody else is going to have to step up, knock some shots down. Middleton, their second best player, definitely think this is a very good spot at 6,400. Dirt cheap of a price tag. Couple of guys we could pay down for, quickly mention. I think we could look at Kevin Huerter. He's starting to get back in the rhythm of things, starting to get a little bit more minutes. Probably get even more minutes if Trae Young ends up being ruled out. So that's some big news, but I like Huerter at 4,800. He's a guy we could really consider. We got him projected at almost 5x. Also, Garrett Temple at 4,700 against San Antonio. With Kyrie out, with LeVert out, Temple has definitely been getting his opportunity. And he hasn't been doing nothing crazy special, but he's been pretty consistent, playing pretty well. So he's a guy we can pay down for as well. Small forward, Paul George, 9,100. Definitely start there. I think he's in play. Going against, Houston, I think this is a pretty decent spot for him. Probably a little bit more of a GPP play for me just because they're healthy. Him and Leonard, when they play together, it's hard for them both to kind of hit value. But nonetheless, I think he is in play. Then we'll go with the guy, Bojan Bogdanovic. For Utah, he's getting a little bit more ball handling duties. He's a playmaker. He's dishing out a couple of extra assists with Mike Conley being out. Same thing with Joe Ingles. I'll talk about him at the same time. We'll kind of put those guys together. They're almost the exact same play. The difference is, Bogdanovic is $1,000 more, but he is the starter. He plays a couple more minutes, so there is a trade-off there. But I like Bogdanovic and I like Ingles in an up-tempo game against Atlanta. I clumped those guys together. I really like both of them, though. I think both of them are definitely in play. Then we'll go with Antetokounmpo. Antetokounmpo going against LeBron in a very up-tempo game. I think that, he can thrive here. But at the same time, they are going to throw guys like Anthony Davis, McGee, some bigger, maybe even LeBron guard in the middle. They're going to throw bigger bodies at Giannis. He's not going to be able to play so much bully ball against the Lakers like he does against a lot of the other league. So I'm interested to see how this game goes. I'm really excited to watch it. But I do think that Antetokounmpo is in play. LeBron, on the flip side of things, 10.3, you save almost $1,000. LeBron, with Anthony Davis playing, LeBron's ceiling isn't as high as Antetokounmpo, but I still think he has a pretty good floor. Both of them have pretty good floors. Like I said, this game should be a very competitive game. Both guys should come out, balls to the wall, and ball out, have some good games. Lastly, a guy I'll quickly mention, we can look to pay down for maybe a little bit more GPP, but Cam Reddish, 3,900. If Trae Young ends up getting ruled out, Cam Reddish may be the guy that they start at point guard. They've already done that one time this year. And at 3,900, you need literally 19 for value. And the guy could give you 25, get you 6x. Maybe not a crazy high ceiling, but I think he could easily get you 6x. Moving to power forward, Anthony Davis, game time decision. Does plan on playing today. Going against Milwaukee, I think that this is a spot Anthony Davis can excel. He can usually excel in almost any matchup, but who are they going to throw at him? Brook Lopez? They don't have nobody that can guard this dude. They don't have a good defensive big. Anthony Davis can have a really good day here. 10.2. I really like the price tag. We got him projected at almost 6x. So he comes in as one of, if not the top play at power forward, especially in a competitive game. It should be, these guys are gamers. LeBron, Anthony Davis, Antetokounmpo. The stars shine when the lights are bright. So next we got Kawhi Leonard going against Houston. 9,400. Same thing with Leonard as Paul George. I think they're a little bit more GPP plays just because they kind of take away from each other. I'm talking about fantasy wise. When they play together, but they're both almost projected at 5x. Both are firmly in play on today's slate. LaMarcus Aldridge, we love bigs going against Brooklyn. 7,600, just too cheap for LaMarcus Aldridge in this matchup. I think this is a prime spot for him to excel, and I like LaMarcus Aldridge at 7,600. Jarrett Allen, 6,100, going against San Antonio on the flip side of things. LaMarcus Aldridge is a really good offensive big, but he's not a really good defender. And Allen, I think he could dominate the paint a little bit. 6,100, I think that he can have a pretty good game here. Lastly, two more guys I'll just throw out there. Not going to go into too much depth, but I think Jabari Parker, I think this is a good spot at 5,300. It's a pretty cheap price tag. He's playing the minutes. I think he can really, really excel here. PJ Tucker at 4,700. They're going to need him on the floor to guard one of the guys. So if he can stay out of foul trouble, I think that he's going to be on the floor a lot, trying to guard Paul George, trying to guard Kawhi Leonard. He'll be in play, but I'm just a little bit scared of foul trouble. Lastly, Royce O'Neal, 4,300, getting that bump with Mike Conley out. I think that he firmly is in play. You can't expect a high ceiling, but I think he'll give you a decent floor with the minutes that he's playing. And then if it does turn into a blowout, then he'll get some extra run. So you got to like him there. Finishing off with center, there's a couple guys I like. I'll start with Rudy Gobert at the top. I think Rudy Gobert is firmly in play here at 7,800. I think that you can look at Clint Capella. The Clippers, they play small ball a lot. And if it's Capella against Harrell, I think Capella is going to win that matchup 9 times out of 10. He's just too big, too physical for Harrell. So, I think it's a really good spot for Capella. Like I said, Gobert's in a really good spot going against Atlanta. Atlanta has Alex Len. After that, they don't have another really good big that comes off the bench. So I think that both of those guys are in play. Harrell, if you want to play him in an up-tempo game, kind of in a narrative spot where he did used to play for Houston, I think that you could look at him as a strictly GPP play. But, I think that you could look at him as GPP. Couple more guys, Alex Len at 4,300. If you're going to pay down, I think that you probably pay down for Alex Len. I am a little bit scared that he does get in foul trouble against Gobert. But, 4,300, if he does play the minutes, we know that Alex Len can definitely fill up the stat sheet very, very quickly. And I think he's, top pay down spot, in my opinion, at center. I think you could pretty much get away with it pretty easy. A couple more guys you can pay down for. Brook Lopez going against Lakers. They're going to need some points. 4,500 is a pretty cheap price tag for Brook Lopez. And I also think you could throw Zubac in there at 4,100. I think that he's going to have to play a couple extra minutes against Capella because I just don't feel Harrell will be able to guard him. So that's really where I'm at with today's slate. You want a more in-depth analysis, make sure to check out the site, dfscheatsheet.com. And then good luck on guys' contest, all right? Peace out.